Woodrow Bud Carnes was a quartermaster striker. So then when I finally got to my ship, USS Henley, 762, it was nothing like I saw in the Victory at Sea as a kid. No spit and polish, everybody was dirty and grimy. The ship was all hoses all over, dirt all over. It was kind of depressing, but you know, after we got together, it was a beautiful ship. When I first saw my destroyer, wow, I was sort of let down. You know, it was a mess. You know, parts were missing. You know, they were putting new parts on, new weapons. They put hedgehogs on they didn't have before, and it was just grit and grime all over. I mean, even the mess deck was black with grit, because you had a lot of welding going on and grinding. It was a noisy mess, really. But in about 2 weeks, we had it back together, and then we went out for our first shakedown, 2-week cruise. And that was my first time out. So of course they always took us out off North Carolina. You know, it's always stormy. They want you to learn to be seasick up there. So that was an experience. I never really got seasick, but I sure wish I could have, the way I felt. But after that, I really got a lot of pride, you know, seeing how everything worked. I was on the deck force, you know, scraping, painting, all that, but standing bridge watch, looking on watch. But I was starting to get a lot of pride in it. Most of the crew were my age, right out of high school. They were very impressive when we first went out to sea. My first cruise, and I just wanted to, you know, fall in line and be as good as they were. Actually, they call us the Friendly Henley. I was on a deck force for maybe 6 months. Well, first couple of months you're going mess cooking. Everybody does that. So they put me in charge of the steam line, and I got all the pies and cakes in. I love pies and cakes, so I would take the ones I really like and put them under the steam line. And actually, I was probably 158 pounds when I went in. And when I got off mess cooking, I think I went up 15 pounds. But I lost that quick. Once I couldn't get the cakes and pies I wanted anymore. But they were, it's quite an experience. In fact, we had a captain's inspection, and I was, you know, here I am, a boot, you know, shaking in my boots. I'm standing at the end of the steam line, scrubbed it up best I could. Captain came through, he says, "Sailor, where's your cockroach locker?" I says, "I don't have one, sir." He says, "You're lying." They had cockroaches all over the ship, up in the wires, overhead. It was just a normal thing to see a cockroach or two running around the steam line on the deck. You know, they just fall out of the wires overhead. So every maybe once a year they would fumigate the ship. You know, every ship has them. Don't let anybody tell you no. That was an experience being called a liar by the captain right away. Actually, our living quarters weren't really air conditioned. They had some blowers, you know, blowing air, but no air conditioning. Yeah. And this is back in '59. This is a World War II ship. So that's one thing they didn't upgrade, was for air conditioning. Well, actually, I say World War II, it was being built, and it was completed right after the war ended. so it didn't see any action. But it was christened, you know, maybe a few months after the war ended. And well, the first Henley was 391, and that was sunk off the Sullivan Islands. They only had a handful of survivors on that, and then they had a couple other ones. The first Henley was there was in the War of 1812. Captain Henley was a hero up in Plattsburgh, New York. So they named that ship after him, the Henley. That was the first one. You know, then succeeding, they had one World War I. The Henley is a big name up in Plattsburgh, New York. They have all of our artifacts off the ship up there. I didn't make the reunions up there, but they say they were treated royally when they had their, it was supposed to be here this year, but they had to cancel.